Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today is Monday, which means it's time for an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick a gun and customization for me to use. The way you do this is you leave a comment down below, letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. Today's top comment comes from UK Bus Dash Cam, which is an exceptionally weird name for somebody. He says the Xfactor Gaming Loadout. Class support, primary is the RPK-74M with a coyote sight, laser sight, standard barrel, no grip, paint, frostbite. Secondary is the deagle, knife bayonet, grenade, M67 frag. Gadget 1 is an ammo box. Gadget 2 is the UCAV for that 4-bang dough. And every time you kill them, you must shout out, "Whop!" Good luck, LevelCap. And I actually have seen one of Xfactor's recent videos where he was talking about the RPK-74M, how to shoot it, and how to basically just nail people from really far away with this machine gun. You can actually be pretty darn accurate with it. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to live up to Xfactor's prowess with this weapon. I can't say I'm actually a huge fan of the RPK-74M. And especially that damn UCAV. Now, the UCAV's been nerfed a lot, but back in the glory days when Xfactor was using it a lot, oh my god, was that thing powerful. However, you can no longer launch one at the beginning of a rush game mode, which is where you could rack up a crap ton of kills right off the bat. And that was funny to do, but obviously a bit game breaking. So thankfully it's been changed now, and now the UCAV has a pretty long cooldown time, which gets reset every time you die. So you actually have to be alive for quite a while before you can launch a UCAV now, making it almost useless on rush game modes, not particularly effective on TDM game modes, in fact borderline useless again there. In fact, I would say the UCAV is only useful now on Conquest large game modes, because that gives you enough time to get the cooldown for it usually, and then you have enough distance between yourself and the next target that you're aiming for to actually hit somebody. That being said, there were so many situations that I ran into where I was just like, man, I wish I had some C4 right now, because you'll come into a room, there'll be 5 guys there with their back turned. There is no way you're going to kill them all with the RPK-74M. The rate of fire just isn't high enough, so stick a C4 will do the trick just fine, and when I didn't have it, it was disappointing on multiple occasions. So I find it pretty hard to argue for the use of a UCAV over pretty much any other support gadget. Now, I know Xfactor really prefers the rush game mode, so I try to stick to rush as much as possible, and it allows you for a lot of long range engagement situations. And then when you get into CQB, you can turn on that laser sight as he does and start hip firing people when needed. Now, it does take a little while to get used to tap firing this weapon. If you go beyond a 2-round burst and you start to hit a 3-round burst, that third shot is going to miss, and so you really have to do 1 to 2 round bursts with this weapon for the most precise accuracy, and that can take a little bit of practice. Personally, I might even run with something like an angled foregrip to help that tap fire capabilities. Maybe you can get a 2-shot or even a 3-shot accurate with an angled foregrip. I didn't test it out because I'm doing Loadout here, but it is something that you might want to consider playing around with. Now, if you pop up the Simthic stats here, you'll notice something interesting about this weapon. It actually has a 30 damage maximum, which doesn't do a whole lot if you're body shotting somebody, because it's still going to be a 4-shot body shot, just like many of the other weapons out in the game right now. But if you mix a headshot in there, you can drop it down to almost a 2-shot kill if the person has any damage done to them. So it's an interesting damage model, and something to keep in mind when you're weighing the pros and cons between the RPK-74M and the RPK-12. The RPK-12 has a 60-round magazine versus the RPK-74's 40-round magazine. It just does a little bit more damage per shot with the RPK-74. It's not necessarily a faster time to kill though, you have to keep that in mind. Now, one nice aspect about this weapon is that it has plenty of ammunition in the magazine to deal with 2 and even 3 targets at a time before you need to reload, and you can usually get a short reload off, that is, before you burn through all 40 rounds in the magazine, or 41 if you have that extra in the chamber. It's got a nice 600 meter per second muzzle velocity, so you can definitely deal with targets at long range, and you're going to surprise a few people when you drop them extremely fast with this LMG, because I don't think a lot of people are expecting to get gunned down from long range with an RPK-74M, because it doesn't strike a lot of people as a real powerhouse of a weapon. It's the accuracy that is going to get you the kills though. Okay, and I might have switched over to a little little bit of TDM just to grab some footage, because sometimes you get into those rush servers where one team just starts stacking and then it gets boring for everyone. I'll even leave if my team is stacked, because it's no fun when your team is just racing between objective to objective and you're really not seeing that many people to kill. In fact, the only way for you to get a kill if you are on the stacked team is to race as fast as you can to the front lines and try and shoot somebody before they die. So you can't even play tactically, and it's just something I don't like about Rush, and something that tends to happen from time to time. Hopefully the next patch with the team balancing update will resolve this issue, and it could actually be one of the most important updates that Battlefield 4 has had if you think about it, because how often is team stacking an issue in Battlefield 4? All the freaking time. Like, I would say over half of my games there is a team stacking issue, and if those games were just more well balanced, they could be a blast to play, every single one of them. Now, if you're not the kind of player that seems like you would favor a weapon like the RPK-74M that requires tap firing and extreme accuracy to be good with, it might pay to hop into the test range and practice a bit with it. It's a good way just to get an idea of how weapons should be shot, or to play around and see what kind of recoil control works the best for you. If you can start taking down target dummies really quickly with your little 2-round burst and then transition and do another 2-round burst on the next target, it's a good way to practice before you actually get into an actual game of Battlefield, because it might just be more frustrating if you just hop right into BF4 and then try out the weapon, because there's so much stuff going on in this game that you have to worry about. It might be a little difficult to also try and learn a new weapon recoil at the same time. Now, I did get a few clips of me getting some kills with the UCAV, no 5 bangs or anything like that, which is going to be far less common because you have to play maps that cluster infantry very close together, which Rush does, but usually you get a little too close to the action in this. So there was a few times that I got some kills with it, but it was not a whole lot. And also, for those of you who don't know, there's actually 2 versions of the UCAV. One that sucks essentially and is very hard to get infantry kills with, and another one that allows you to upgrade it to the airburst mode, so you can detonate the UCAV in the air, doing a huge amount of splash damage. And there's actually an assignment for this in Battlelog that you can look up. It involves getting kills with the bomber on China Rising maps, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to get, but once you have it, you upgrade the UCAV to be so much more effective than it is by default. And this is something that not a lot of people know about, and for the most part I didn't really want to tell people about it back when the UCAV was OP, but it's been nerfed so much that at this point, if you do upgrade the airburst mode, it's not really going to be that big of a deal, except for maybe conquest game modes, but even then it's only going to be every once in a while. Now, despite me not being totally in love with the RPK-74M, it's probably just an issue of me needing to practice more with it. It works incredibly well for Xfactor, and it's not to say that I wasn't doing well with it, I just feel more comfortable with other guns at the moment. But if you are trying to play this game more seriously and you want to be as good as you possibly can be, it makes a lot of sense just to use the same weapons over and over, so you can get as used to that recoil, reload time, and damage model as much as possible, and then you know exactly how long it takes to take down enemies, how to control your recoil, and what range targets to engage. There's a lot that you have to learn about each weapon to be really proficient with them. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's episode of Loadout. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and don't forget to leave your comments down below letting me know what you'd like me to run with for next week. And you may as well go check out Xfactor's video on the RPK-74M also. I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.